Welcome to Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. Backed by popular demand is the intrepid Drake Bailey for another question and answer session. You may want to make some popcorn and buckle your seatbelt. This one will be another wild ride. Here is your host Gail of Gaia with her guest Drake Bailey.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, and I'm here today, and it happens to be my birthday today. But anyway, I have Mr. Drake Bailey on, and he has some very interesting and exciting news for us.
I don't know how exciting it is.
Well, it sounded kind of exciting to me. So anyway,
hey everybody. Anyway, the deal's simple. This is something that's basically hidden intel. Now they have come out. They haven't come out with this one publicly. They've talked about socialism, Marxism, and all the nice things they're going to do to us if they get into office. Well, that means, from what I have been able to find out, they ain't getting in. If by some kind of fluke or accident they did, I have heard that they're going to execute them. Ooh. So I decided to look in to see what's going on. Well, the deal is this, and this is from, I got to put my eyes on to see up close. Washington Examiner, August 18th, that ain't too old, this year. And it's an editorial. And it talks about Kamala Harris, the cancel culture cop. Now, by that, I mean that anybody that disagreed with her while she was Attorney General, she fried them, literally, and not in a nice way. Well,
she's planning on doing that too, because she's already come out and threatened people that if she gets in, she's going to go after anybody who was a Trump supporter.
Yeah, well, I got an answer to that. Bring it on, baby cakes. That's one of the reasons I carry that thing. And people around here and whatnot know that I will shoot somebody. I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, here's the deal. And I don't mean I'm bloodthirsty or anything like that, but if somebody comes in and it says they're going to take my underwear, they're going to have a fight on their hands. That's all there is to it. Now, that can be guns or whatever, but one of the switcheroonies, one of the untold stories that has permeated the Democratic Party is not so much socialism, Marxism, and they're going to screw you on your taxes and all this other stuff, and I'm taking all your guns and all that. The ideology is simple. Anybody that's watched Joe Biden knows that he's not mentally sound. And that's being nice, okay? Well, he forgets, he don't know the difference between his sister and his wife. I mean, little minor problems of that nature. So here's the deal. The deal is simple. Kamala Harris, the cancel culture cop. He was told to select her. And there's a reason for that. She knows how to work the system in terms of getting what I'm going to call them Democratic Socialists want. And what they want to do is very simple. Everybody knows that they can, certain people can incapacitate somebody with either permanently with a heart gun or something like that. And all it shows up, you had a massive coroner and he dead. Okay, the same thing happens when you put certain chemicals in somebody's iced tea. What the plan is very simple. They want to get Harris in there so that Harris can replace Joe Biden.
Yes, that's what I figured was going to go on. He's going to step down.
Well, if Joe Biden's all of a sudden sitting there going, yeah, and drooling, and and nobody home, then he can be declared mentally incompetent. I forget which amendment, the constitutional amendment it is, 18th, 23rd, or whatever. Anyway, he can be declared mentally incompetent to perform the duties of the office and be instantly replaced by Kamala Harris.
That's scary.
Oh, hey, she ain't exactly nice, no matter how you slice it.
You know what I read about her?
Huh?
I just a few of the just a few of the things that I read about her when she was Attorney General. Which, if we go back to the Republic, as we were supposed to do, attorneys aren't allowed in those positions anyway. But that's a whole nother story. She put like 1,900 people in jail rather proudly for cannabis charges. She refused to allow DNA evidence that would exonerate someone.
Yeah.
And a number of other horrendous violations of individuals' unalienable rights. She doesn't even know what that word means, I'm sure.
I'm making a note here. Go ahead.
But anyway, there was some other thing that someone was known to be innocent, and she wouldn't even allow, and many times she wouldn't allow evidence that was critical and rightly should have been allowed. So she must have been working with the judges too and bribing the whole 9 yards. Very corrupt. That's all I can say. Very corrupt.
Yeah. She smokes a joint, it's okay. But if you smoke a joint, you go to jail.
Exactly. I heard the exact same thing because she admitted to smoking. But if anybody else does, she gets to put them in jail. That double standard makes me sick.
Okay, well, listen to this very carefully. I wrote Kamala Harris, the culture cop, and I wrote dangerous at the top of it. There's a reason for that.
I agree.
Here's the deal. Joe Biden would rather sate the appetites of his party's culture warriors than a united, divided nation. Bingo. She is a safe pick, and I use that word loosely. This is in writing. Washington Examiner, August 18th this year. Not in our lifetimes has the nominee's running mate been so consequential. Biden's choice matters more than normal, not only because he's very old and clearly in decline, but also because he's running to be a placeholder president. This person here recognizes what's going on.
Yeah.
You pick Harris if you are beholden to your party's woke cultural warriors. The left has largely won the cultural war, securing gay marriage, saving Roe versus Wade, and normalizing transgender ideology. Now they want to punish all dissenters. Anybody that disagrees with them, anybody that does not play their game. Harris, okay? Is not a mere demagogue. She's a demagogue who will use the power of the federal government to punish the other side. This is pretty strong stuff, okay?
Yes, indeed.
Here's a quote from somebody that knows her. Okay. She is a dead-on prosecutor. This is her mentor, Willie Brown, wrote, and when she goes in that mode, watch out. She's out for blood. So as Attorney General, she did just about everything you can think of to get the us, bad guys, conservatives, just get them the hell out of there. First prosecutor ever to use California's eavesdropping laws against a journalist after secret consultations with the abortion provider. Well,
she's one of the ones that is backing the fact that you can abort a baby like 5 minutes before it's ready to be born.
No. Termination after birth.
Oh, it was after the birth?
She added to it.
Oh, my God.
Okay, now here's the fun. A clear majority of the public, about 70%, believe there should be restrictions on abortion. I agree with that, but Harris wants to treat states that pass restrictions as if they acted outside the bounds of democratic legitimacy. She's called the Knights of Columbus extremists. I know the Knights of Columbus. They're not extreme. They're a religious group, but there's nothing there but innuendo. It's all BS. Harris' presidential campaign was focused on dividing the country. Went in the toilet just immediately, okay? Gun owners, pro-lifers, homeschoolers, and traditional religions will all have reason to fear persecution in an administration where Harris has sway. And she'll have sway because the culture war wing obviously calls the tune in Biden's Democratic Party. That's only a
Well,
portion of the.
yeah, and not only that, neither one of our parents were even born here. Not that that matters that much, but
I don't really, to be honest, I don't really care
yeah,
about that sort of thing as much as a lot of people would like to think. Now, here's the other part of it. I do believe that if a person, an individual, can't show that they are that they were born and raised here in the United States, born and raised, they're not a citizen. Naturalized citizen can't be president. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Therefore, she doesn't qualify. But, and this is the neat part,
but neither did
you got all these people. Well, yeah, but you got all these people out there hollering about this stuff, and yet I don't see anybody doing anything. Now, I don't know if Barr's taking this up as a legal question or not.
Yeah, like where are all these
just
attorneys?
Trying to get this light to cooperate.
Yeah, where are all the attorneys? There are so many lawsuits that could be going on right now. They just show their loyalty to the.
Well, Barr just mentioned he was going to arrest 1,000 people. That ain't going to be small potatoes. I'd like to know who the 1,000 are, but he has stipulated that the evidence that Dunham has supplied is damning for people that are to some extent household names. So you got some really interesting funky monkeys about to be put in the clink in the cooler.
It's about time, because if any one of us had done any of the things even close to what they've been doing, we'd be there already.
Yes, exactly. Now, the reason that we've had the problems we've had with I don't know, stretching the rubber band and taking so long to get stuff done is because of the complexity of getting it done. And you got to do it 1,000 times. Think about it. How long does it take to research 1,000 people?
Quite a while.
Date, name, what they do, just that affidavit alone times 1,000. Okay. Figure half an hour, 45 minutes if it's readily available. And then multiply by 1,000. So you got 45,000 minutes. How many days is that? It takes time to get this stuff running. I have stipulated, and I made a mistake. I'll be right up front about it. One of the things I did that caused people problems was that I got a hold of a future timeline that was run right parallel, and if you don't have the present timeline, reads differently than the future timeline. The mass arrests and whatnot that I told David Wilcock about in the interview with him simply were from that future timeline. Mm-hmm. So and then you got the other problem, and people don't understand this one either. So I'll give it to you in biblical form. You go look it up. My days are as 1,000 of your years. Now, does that tell you there's a little time differential in that? E.T. operates on universal time. We operate on what we think time is here on the planet, and there's a big differential in it. So I screwed up, but when somebody uses the 4-letter word soon, it's going to happen, whose timeline? That's the question. Now, E.T., from what I've seen, is getting so excited they can't hardly contain themselves, and they want to get this done. They want to get us to where we should be and should always have been. So we're going to come out of 3D pretty soon, and that's on a portion of that. They are all for what we're looking to do in terms of taking down the cabal, because it's not good for anything or anybody, even their own members.
Okay. So what do you see in the timelines now?
I mean, what I see in the timelines now, before the end of the year, we should have landings, mass landings. If E.T. keeps their word, we'll have mass landings for the end of the year. That will either be right before, I'm talking about within minutes on our time, or right after, within minutes after the transition. And it's the people that are in charge of going ahead with that have stipulated very simply and very concisely that it depends on how we start handling things. In other words, as Trump drains the swamp, we can take down the people that are misusing our freedoms against us, and that's one thing that really makes me mad when they use our freedoms against us. So there's several options in all this. One of which is straight up counter violence to the people who think it's cute to use the Constitution as a weapon against conservatism in general. The welfare of all. Well, fine. Let's take the majority of that and see how many BLM and Antifa qualify. A lot of them are still living in mom and dad's basement. A lot of them are still students at colleges. There's I want free college. Oh yeah, that means I ain't got to go. That means I ain't got to go flip burgers to make up the difference between what mom and dad's giving me. Yeah. Well, guess what? That ain't happening. That's first. Okay. Not yet. Now that's coming, but it's in the future. The things that we have to look at right now, they're talking about cashless society. Well, yeah, okay. The people that do have credit cards and bank cards and things of that nature, yes, they can do that. But in the meantime, you've got a lot of poor people that can't. They haven't ever seen a bank card or a credit card, either one. Some of them. Most of them don't have one because they don't generate enough funds to run through the bank to show that they can pay the bill. Consequently, you got
that's also crooked. The banks have been so fraudulently set up,
well,
and
it ain't
the way they treat people. Yes, it is.
No, it ain't.
Yes,
no,
it is.
Here's
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Listen.
Hold on there.
It's very simple. Okay, it ain't the bank. A lot of people like to think it is. Okay, the bank does not control the currency. Think about that very carefully. Who's got the cash in fist? The business
gets bailed out when they want to, though.
Well, in paper money. They don't pay them in coinage. Coinage has become extraordinarily expensive. It costs more to make most of the change that we use than the face value of the change itself. So you have to understand that the Fed's not willing to foot that bill. I'm talking probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million a year just to make pennies. Do you realize how many pennies that is? I mean, good Lord. Okay, so what we do, we collect change. We get a handful at the grocery or whatever, and we take it and we eventually we put it in a tube, $10 in quarters, $5 in dimes, whatever. What we've been doing lately is buying groceries and that sort of thing with that coinage. We're putting ours back into circulation. People say, well, the paper money is worthless. Guess what? Your coinage is based on that paper money. So if a dollar's worth 3 cents, well, you got 30 cents in a roll of quarters at, for $10. I mean, you have to understand that. Now, several things have happened. The bailouts are really, really extraordinary in terms of running up the debt. They authorized and printed some $3 to $5 trillion already. Now, if you got a widget, and it can be something as simple as this oil stick wiper. That's what this is, okay? And it sells for, say, 25 cents, but it becomes extraordinarily popular. Everybody wants one. Now, the reason I like it is it's got a magnet, and you can stick it on stuff. I stick it on my lamp, but if you got a certain amount of these in circulation, you're selling a certain amount. What happens if you make 10 million of them? What happens to the value of that little whiz banger, that little widget? It goes down. Same thing's true, especially of currencies, all currencies. If you go to printing money, oops, that is going to drive down the value. Now, the dollar, one of the reasons that people have not gone to to the point of printing another large portion of money is very simple. They don't want to deflate it to the point where it loses its position as the reserve currency. That gives us an extraordinary amount of leverage to make things happen. Now, that's control of central banks, economies as large as the European Union, China, Russia. Okay, they can't really resist the power of the Fed in terms of having what we're using in the way of greenbacks when it's also the reserve currency. They can't. It's hard for them to mess with it. Now, if you looked at the news, oh God, I hope somebody watches the news just a little bit here and there. There's some remarkable, fantastic things going on. Okay, that resistance to printing more money is really cool. They figured it out. We can't do that very much more. If we do, we're going to screw ourselves up. They're trying not to screw us up.
Got a question.
What?
What happens to all the funds that have been seized from all these crooked people that are supposed to be arrested? I thought funds,
It gets put in the general fund.
Isn't Trump in charge of the Federal Reserve now?
Say it again.
I said, isn't Trump in charge of the Federal Reserve now?
Yeah, that doesn't make any difference.
What about Gassara Nasara? I mean, all that changes everything.
But that's a different subject than what we're dealing with. And the reason it is because it resets things. Okay? What we're talking about is something's already there, it's in play, and the difference is simple. If it goes into the general fund, and China has been paying billions of dollars in tariffs, it goes into the general fund. The taking of a large corporate account or a large account to include the assets involved in it and all that is not simple. It takes 6 months to a year to snatch somebody's stuff and apply and throw it into the they can freeze an account. That's not too much of a problem, but actually taking it is a whole another game altogether. And when they do, it goes into the general fund, just like the tariffs and fines and whatever. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't agree with the idea that there should even be any monetary consideration according to being stuck in jail or whatever. And those people think that it would be cute not to have bail. Well, I'm sorry, how are you going to make sure that person or guarantee
an ankle bracelet?
That they show up?
An ankle bracelet?
No.
We don't need a prison system as large as it is. There's no reason why we incarcerate more people than any other country, and it's because they're making money.
Well,
they're even taking those people and doing medical experiments on them and sending them into special space programs, I've been told.
That's only a part of it.
So that's a pretty evil situation. So
They don't have the ankle bracelets.
Well, make them.
Well, yeah, maybe they should put some of the prisoners to work making them.
What's cheaper, having an ankle bracelet on somebody or having to house and feed them? If the concern is actually money, but I don't think the concern is money because they extract money from the birth bond certificate.
Now you're beginning to get it.
Oh, I get it.
Control. It's called enforcement. Okay, the very things that the Marxists want to tear down, the basis of law and law enforcement and all this other happy stuff, very things that the Marxists want to destroy are the very things that keep things under control and running. So what happens is, ankle bracelets. Well, we're going to have to come up with a load of them. Now here's the problem.
Here's another thing, though.
Go ahead.
You
got to remember one thing. Who's buying these things? local police stations and whatnot are getting their throats cut right now. So,
Well, they make money for their own department because they're a business just like any other business, the way things are set up right
really,
now. And I personally think that the police departments, and I'm not in favor of defunding them, I am in
yeah,
favor of them draining their own swamps because they have some very bad
I agree.
apples
Yeah.
and
Now,
there's nothing
got
to
to
do
change,
about
but we
them.
have to change all of the union agreements. Now, I covered this on the show. You got to
Oh, that's a good
rescind
one, yeah.
the protections that these people have in terms of not being prosecuted and a bunch of other stuff.
Well,
Problem is the Fed is going to have to come in.
qualified immunity, it needs to be
That's
unqualified.
yeah, exactly. Well, here's the deal. Problem is when the Fed comes in uh, takes over. Now, when I did a show on abdication, you abdicate your authority, you lose your seat, and all of the parameters that go with it, control, authority, etc. So the Fed comes in, takes over, and rioters scream, coup, fascism, Gestapo, Nazi tactics. That's just straight up enforcement of the law. You think it's cool to have somebody break into a business and take whatever they want out of there. What happens if they come to your house and do that? Huh? Turkey?
Well,
Well,
who could
here,
possibly be in
hold
favor of
on.
that sort of thing?
Well, there's another paragraph here. Problem is, the Fed will not surrender to the riotous Marxist demands.
I should hope not.
You ain't going to do it. Instead, all the rioters will be arrested and charged with treason. Everybody needs to think about that. Antifa and BLM will be designated as terrorists along with all their members. And the silent majority will be invincible. They've already been proven that. Antifa went to a suburb just outside of, or at the edge of Portland and was going to have a fun riot in the neighborhood. Now, everybody and their mother-in-law come out of their houses. They brought shotguns, they brought weed eaters, they brought whatever they could that would hurt somebody or kill them, and said, get. And guess what? They were so outnumbered, Antifa and BLM run for cover. This has been happening nationwide in small
Good.
towns and
I'm
suburbs.
glad to see it.
The silent majority has finally found that they do have not only a voice, but they can tell these turkeys to take a hike, take a walk, and be within both constitutional and legal parameters. Then you don't have to put up with fireworks 24/7. You don't have to put up with people breaking and entering and looting and all that. Now, there's a problem that I addressed on one of my shows where this has not only gone over the top. We've lost up to between 30 and 50%, depending on where you're at, of both small businesses and the jobs that go with them. That's first.
Yeah, and did you see the increases in the salaries of the, like Bezos, Zuckerberg, Buffett, who's some of the other, Bill Gates, all of those guys, their incomes, have been
You got to remember
raised by billions.
You got to remember Gates is a private entity, supposedly. Well, here's how this goes. It's simple, okay? The gross waste of energy, minds, and imagination in writing plays and is playing into a trap. That's for all these people that are doing the writing, that are tearing stuff up and in general being butt wipes.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody can think that's of any benefit to even their cause or anything. It's ridiculous.
But you're leaving out the program. Within it, everybody's heard of Agenda 21. Well, within Agenda 21 is the plan to destroy all police. So you don't have any law enforcement. This is happening now or being attempted everywhere. Defund, etc.
They actually did it in Seattle, I heard.
Supposed to. Can you imagine all the crooks?
That is crazy.
Can you imagine all the crooks drooling on themselves? Oh, wow, man. We get to do anything we want. And then if they catch them and put them in jail, they come right back out. It takes about an hour and a half. After this, the idea is that the people will screamingly demand relief of any kind. They think they're going to go to Marxism. Problem is, the Fed comes in. and they're not going to put up with that shit. The Fed has been authorized, depending on the severity of the situation and number of people involved, to use lethal force. That means live ammunition. Forget the rubber bullets and bullshit with pepper spray. They're going to kill you. Think about that very carefully before you.
Is that the military?
Yeah, that's an order from the DOD that I got a hold of. They didn't like the fact that I put it out on my show last week, but that's not my problem. The problem is not with the military and using lethal force. It's the problem with
They don't want to
Marxists who think that they can control
do
and do anything they want with all of our stuff, our property, stuff we worked for. I mean, most of these turkeys, especially Antifa, these little kids living in the basement at mom's house. BLM has been building for a long time, but there's very few of them involved.
BLM is just a branch of the Democratic group.
Well, the Democratic voters are the ones that have been attributed to the riots. Hey, your kids are acting up. Are you going to do anything about that? Nah, they're just expressing themselves.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that are walking away from the Democratic Party because it has morphed into something extremely ugly that it wasn't ever supposed to be. But yet, even if you look at its history, it's very dark.
Well, the thing is that it started about a year ago, very lightly, and all of it, and it's kept continuing to go. And the walk away, that's what it's called, from the Democratic Party, has turned into a flood of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
Small wonder.
Then you also have all those people. Are you still a Democrat? Sure, I'm a good boy. Lying right in their face. Well, guess what? We have gotten to a point where we the people have had enough of their horse manure, and hey, that's nice fertilizer for the garden. Don't throw it at me. Well, they've been throwing it at them. They went to one place and started breaking into houses. And everybody in the neighborhood, on both sides of the street, whether they're just getting broke into or not, they come out with billy clubs and everything else. Beat the living whatever out of these guys. I'm talking about breaking bones, heads, or whatever. A couple of them got shot. They went after Grandma, and Grandma pulled a 12 gauge out and said, bye, boom. Okay, blew them back out the front door. Okay, these are the kinds of things these people should be paying attention to. The reason I say that is gun sales are 5 to 10 times normal.
I know, it's hard to even get one now. It's hard to even get a hold of one.
You can't find them.
Exactly.
The manufacturers, they got these factories running 2 shifts at least, and they can't keep up. That includes any kind of ammo you want to get. Now, I already got my stuff pretty much here, so I don't have to worry about much.
I don't, but I will.
Well, I got my bulletproof vest and all that stuff. So I'm, they can shoot me, and I'll just shoot them. I'll just shoot them, see if they're wearing one.
Well, I don't want to go into battle, but I certainly want to be able to protect myself.
Well, that's the battle. They break in your front door. What are you going to do? Fall down on your knees and pray? Oh, please don't hurt me, Mr. Bad Guy. Bullshit. I'm going to pull a 12 gauge out and blow it off, blow it right back through the front door. If I hit it at the right angle, it'd probably clear the porch. Call 911 and say, hey, I need some body bags. That didn't come with my survivalist supplies, so y'all need to come out here and scoop them up. There's blood, guts, and it's messy. If you bring a rake and a shovel.
So what about, I don't mean to change the subject, but I hope people know where things are at in that regard and how important it is that we, the people, take our country back by defending our homes and others. We need to unite together to accomplish this. And but what about some of the galactic stuff you were telling me about? That sounds pretty interesting.
Well, that's kind of been put on a back burner. I thought it was interesting. At least that's what I was told last night. I wanted to prep for the show. So I had a conversation with the E.T.s I work with, and the Galactics are supposedly in charge of the Galactics are the Universals in some cases. They hold two positions, and the Galactics means the galaxy. Okay, this is the Galactic Council people. They said that there will be peace. Period. There's no fudging on it or anything. They do have a wave that they can broadcast that causes everybody to calm down.
What was this one thing?
In other words, the bloodthirstiness just leaves your body.
The anger and hatred and all that.
So how are you going to have a ride if nobody's pissed off? It's pretty difficult right back, unless you hit them with a cattle prod in the Watusi.
Well, I thought that was be considered against the Prime Directive.
The non-interferal Prime Directive has been lifted once the quarantine on the planet was established fully. What that means is that if they wish to interfere, land, or whatever they want to do, beam people up like, Scotty, beam me up, that sort of stuff, they can. All right. Now, they don't want to interfere, and they don't want to deal with the mess that we've made down here.
Let me. Can I address that for a minute and see what you have to say or what they have to say about this? And that is this: the Galactics, because we were basically a portion of us were, and I don't mean a portion of us. How do I put this? Our avatar was created by a group, a race, an E.T. race, known as the Anunnaki. And they basically abandoned us. And in the meantime, they, if you, for one thing, they broke the Prime Directive by even creating us and making us a slave race. That was not kosher, and they weren't supposed to do that.
Yes, they were. That's
well, that's okay. Well, that would be in
that was one of their
contrast to something else. That would be in contrast to what I've been told by someone else. But anyway, what I'm getting at is they're supposed to, if they create a race, they're supposed to nurture and raise it more or less. It's like raising children. That's why they call us like a toddler race. We're just like a bunch of little babies that don't know how to act. We had like 2-year-olds that have temper tantrums and all that other kind of stuff. And, when they get something, it's mine, that kind of thing. And, mine. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, what I'm getting at is that didn't happen, and it was supposed to happen.
Well, there's several things that have been altered. Number one, they're here, okay, and they are watching what's going on, and they are very interested. Number two, the non-interferal Prime Directive has been modified to exclude our planet once, and this only happened when the new matrix got put in place. Now, this new matrix literally protects us. You can't get in and out unless you have permission. And if you ain't got permission, you're going to get vaporized.
Here's another aspect of that. Because we were basically abandoned, in the meantime, we've been, our water's been poisoned, our food has been poisoned,
and they're here to help set that
air has been poisoned, everything. I mean, it's amazing we're still alive.
But they're here to help us set that right. Okay?
We take a licking and keep on ticking.
The original scientists that made us, they're no longer alive. Okay, even these guys got longevity limitations. What is happening now is that they are rosining up the bow, getting ready to play music everybody wants to hear. And that is coming out of 3D. That's as I've described, the test tube where they squeeze you to see what comes out. Okay, that's real nice. Thanks a lot for all the arthritis and gimpiness in my knees and whatever. Well,
poisoning.
They are here to reinitiate what we originally had. And what that's going to do is that's going to make us like little kids. pretty much, teenagers at the very least, in terms of our longevity and our physical and mental capabilities. It's not going to interfere with our memories. We'll remember everything we already got, but you're going to feel like you got double the capacity, 3 or 4 times the normal energy, and the physical capability to do it. That's basically what they're coming to do for us. All right, that is where your prime directive is overridden by the creational authority, and the creational authority is such that if you create a race of beings such as humans, then all of a sudden you're not just responsible for them, you're responsible to them, and helping somebody is not considered interference depending on how it's done. They're looking at doing it the right way. Now, I'm looking forward to not having to prep raw materials to cook again. Take a replicator, what do I want? How about a big old T-bone? Click, and pull the plate out, and there you go. Now, when you're done,
you didn't even have to kill an animal.
yeah, it just, and when you're done, you got the bone and some gristle and the plate and whatnot. You ain't got to do dishes. Put it all on there, put it back in there, and you hit the button that says recycle.
Okay, but this is what comes back to mind is when you said earlier about the difference in time. What is a day to them is a year to us. So what are, who knows when that will happen?
Well, that's the thing. I have been told that in terms of our time, all of these things are supposed to take place this year. And the only thing I can tell is what people tell me. These entities have told me absolutely yes. They said also that there was a bunch of promises made, and they're going to show us that. Now this is stuff that's ancient, okay, 1 billion years old. A bunch of promises made for and in the direction of not only the planet but its inhabitants. So there's a lot of things that are getting ready to come about. We're going to get rehabbed. I don't have to worry about falling out of my chair anymore.
I didn't think you would, but okay.
You go to the bathroom, you hear a big splash. Are y'all right? Yeah, but the water's awful cold for swimming. You get into certain areas and these things need to be fixed. Okay, we do not use the present technologies we have available to us on human level hardly at all. We have, try this, we don't need sewage plants and sewer lines. There's a device that we've had for since the 40s, and you mount it you run the sewer pipe from the toilet into it, and what comes out on the other side is clean water. And it's distributed.
They've had this technology all this time and not released it to anybody.
Trying to keep it. Look, they're scared to death that somebody's going to get a superior idea to theirs and use it up for something. The reason E.T. has not supplied us with heavy-duty technology is because they are absolutely positively sure we'll make some kind of weapon out of it. And
we'll misuse it, yeah. So, that's like being the toddler again, giving them matches or a lighter or something like that.
I'll give you an example. Everybody knows about atomics, okay, both weapons and power and all that. That understanding is one of the bases that's used for transmutation of matter, meaning you can take something that's made out of atomic whatever and turn it into chocolate pudding or popcorn. Okay, they can do all these things. If we got a hold of that, imagine what we do to each other. Talk about a pillar of salt in the Bible. Hey, man, he just became cat food, and all the cats are coming. It gets ludicrous, but you think about it, and there's some nutcases out there. There's a lot of hungry.
Well, but okay, I got an answer to that. Aren't they supposed to like fix everybody? So you go back to your original blueprint. So that wouldn't be a problem then, would it?
Well, it depends on whether or not somebody decides to grit their teeth real hard and continue to be evil. Oh, you fixed
Well,
me
since
good.
they
Thanks.
since they have the capacity to be able to read our energy signature, you would
Yeah.
think they would be able to recognize that and subvert it
All of the
very
people that
quickly.
all of the people that are squirrely like that are going to be collected and treated and turned back loose again. Then you won't have to worry about them wanting to turn you into a popsicle or whatever they're
Well, yeah,
imagining.
we really have some mad scientists out there. My God, I can't
Oh,
believe it.
you have no idea. They had, I know of 3 of them that got arrested over the past year. Now, this is not just 2020, but back into 2019,
Mhm.
for making an attempt to build something to blow up the planet. Hello, you standing on it too? You're gonna blow you up too?
Oh my God. Well, I heard the story about this scientist. I even know his name was Duncan, I guess. But he was doing the kind of work that where you could take, the brain waves that people have when they're in a whole lot of pain,
Mm-hmm.
and he could overlay them onto a person that doesn't have anything wrong with them and make them experience that pain. Now
Yeah.
that's just downright cruel. I mean, what's the purpose of that kind of technology, other than for
The
very
ideology
nefarious reasons?
but there's an ideology behind the capability of doing that. Instead of bringing pain from somebody who's intensely involved with that, bring healing to the person with the pain.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, of
that's
course. What a
now,
concept.
yeah, okay. Most of us, I'm talking about 99.999%, that's going to be a 1 millionth of a percent are going to come out evil. Okay. The rest of us will be just fine. Nobody wants to inflict pain on somebody else.
Unless you're
Now,
a mad scientist.
well, it depends on the politician as to how much pain they'd like to inflict. But anyway,
Well, we won't
the
talk about
uh,
how do you say her name? The Harris woman. She would probably enjoy that.
Kamala Harris. Well, so
Yeah.
anyway, she'll be fixed too. Okay, and I don't mean fixed like you fix a cat or a dog, but I mean fixed up here where the problems are. You have a combination of things that go on in the human mind. One of those is short circuits between one memory and another, an idea and another. Those things can short circuit. When we go through the transition, that stops. Everything stops dead. Then they fix us, and we go, cool. I don't feel like I hate anybody, and off you go.
Well, what's this about people telling me that the fourth dimension is the land of the dead?
Well, that's because of what occupies the lower main percentage of it. About somewhere around 40% of it is occupied by zombies that want to eat your brains, okay, or whatever that sort of shit might entail. Then you got 10% on top of that, so you're up to halfway, 50%. Just plain flat crooks. They will do anything they can to steal your hair. You didn't know that your hair was valuable, but it is. Ha. Well, think about being bald-headed permanently. That ain't too cool.
I know they make
And
some
that,
wigs and stuff out of real hair, so whatever.
yeah, and that's the sort of, okay, so
They
we're
steal
going to,
people's body organs for that too.
oh, look at the size of that. I think I want some of them. And all of a sudden, poof, hey, man, what happened here? My whiz banger done shrunk up. Uh-huh. Well, anyway, what you got to look at is that you're up to 50%. Then you got the ones that want to get over. Now, these are the guys that play bait and switch and things of that nature. They're not really crookedy crooks. They're sort of half crooks. And most
White
of them
collar
ain't very,
crooks.
yeah, most of them ain't very good at it.
Not that
So
that's
what you've
good.
got basically is somewhere around 60% of 4D that is nasty. It is not good for us, and it's not good for anybody that goes there. So we're going in the upper crust of 4D, the place that's clean. And we get to take some classes to learn about 5D. Think about this. We get to learn how to get into it and do it right in 5D. Now, I don't know how long we're going to be in 5D, but it's very simple. First of all these things happen in threes. That magic number.
Yeah, we do everything.
Everybody's heard of 3, 6,
9.
and 9. Well, these come in threes. We're now in the third. Now look at all the realization we've got and advances we've made. Now we're getting ready to go to 4 so that we can really advance. In other words, all your old age pains and problems, they're gone when you go to 4D, when the transition happens. Then you got classes. I don't know which time they have put together in terms of how long we're going to be in 4D. I don't know that. But once we get done with the classes, and everybody passes this thing. It's something that you can't really flunk. Once everybody passes that, then we go to 5D. We're going to be in 5D for some time because that is the age of Aquarius, so to speak. 6D is where you actually do something with all that knowledge. And as I said, in threes. So you got 3, go to 4, get classes, learn how to act in 5, spend enough time in 5 to understand how to be. Then there's preparatory classes for 6. And we're going to be in 6 however long we decide to be. It's just that simple. But remember, it happens in threes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how does that, this transition thing has me a little baffled because I've heard so many different things. But anyway, from an energetic standpoint.
What do you mean energetic?
How does that, our physical body is accustomed to 3D, right? So now energetically that is going to change.
Hold on. To an extent, you got to remember, you've seen the double helix thing.
Yeah.
Little
the DNA
crosshairs sticking out. Yeah. Some of those ain't attached. Okay, when we transition from 3 to 4, there's a bunch of those that reattach. They do it on their own.
That's what would make
this puts us in this puts us in a position to help understand what just happened to us, as well as keeping our cool about it. In other words, oh my God, Junior just walked through the wall. I can't have that. Well, you learn how to control Junior and a few other things in these classes so that he can't just walk into the bathroom when you got the door locked or whatever's going on. You know, so there's a whole bunch of advantages in this that are not something that can be, think of all the aspects, every little thingy in your whole life being affected by this, not in an adverse way, but in a good way. Now, can you keep an eye on all the little goodies that Junior is going to find out about? No.
Like those people that have kids that are
exactly.
advanced.
E.T. has this down to a point where people are not going to be left in the lurch in terms of being able to take care of business and be what they need to be. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Are you ready for some questions?
Sure, bring on the funners.
Okay, you didn't have anything else galactically or anything like that?
I'll leave it alone. We'll see if the questions I think are going to be asked get
Probably
asked.
Have some. Okay. Well, this is a question I just happen to have open right now. But what's happening with Neil, the Armin, and the Group K?
Neil's in the process of getting back over there to take care of business, open at least one bunker that's supposedly been given to him, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've heard some very mixed stories about him, but anyway, not all of them are good either. But okay.
You ought to see what they say about me.
Yeah, but I like you. Anyway, what is really going on with the fires in California?
Everybody knows about the high energy weapons. They saw those. People caught videos. Well, it's really hard to show the source of lightning strikes that didn't come from the clouds. So you get the picture. They're trying to burn the weather. They're trying to burn down the last of the big forests. They think they're doing that.
Oh my God! And it's just so criminal. They're burning down some of the redwood trees. Yeah. And those are 2,000 years old.
Redwood trees don't mean squat compared to all the critters that live on them and in them. think about the barbecued squirrels and whatnot. You know, it's horrendous. Put it mildly.
I saw a picture of. I never seen a lightning strike like. I mean, it looked like a direct energy weapon because there was like strikes all over in this huge, very wide column of fire.
Of lightning.
Yeah. It's like, where the heck did that come? Come on, that ain't normal.
Yeah.
That's not natural by any shot. But anyway, thunder and lightning with no rain. How come? You know, it's not thunder and lightning. It's energy weapons. But who are the ones that are responsible for that? Is that?
Well, now I just mentioned a thing called Agenda 21, population reduction. Okay, there's two aspects to that. Number one, control the food supply, and you got them by the whatevers. Control the water supply, and it's dried up out there, and you really got them then. They will come out of the woods and go, please, mister, don't hurt me no more.
That's where we're getting, look at all the damage they've already done to the food supply.
Well, they're just about to wipe out California, and if California gets wiped out, you're going to lose 40% of the veggies and fresh stuff that we get from California.
And look what just happened in Iowa. Just happened in Iowa, too. Iowa had hurricanes or tornadoes, something like that, and it took out a whole bunch of the soybean, corn, you know, you name it.
Yeah.
And we're going to be headed for some food shortages. So we're going to really need those replicators.
We're going to need a whole lot of help. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. They have set themselves up for failure in terms of eradicating us. Okay?
That's so evil. Okay. You said that, or they say, very happy to hear the Galactics reinforced the San Andreas Fault Corridor. Is that true?
Yes. Do what now?
Somebody said that you had said that they had reinforced the Galactics had reinforced the San Andreas Fault, so it's not likely to happen.
What they did was they reconnected it with big rubber bands made out of solid granite. Now, in other words, you have the plate sitting here. California's right here. And you got a plate going under, and that's what causes the problems, okay? San Andreas is the crack point. Now, you look at my hands. Mm-hmm. You got a point right here, okay? The crack point. That's what it is, where the subduction plate gets really pushed down, okay? They reinforced it, and they redid some of the streaming of the lava underneath it so that it won't create a problem, or shouldn't, and they're watching it.
Okay.
That means Yellowstone ain't gonna go off.
Yay! Okay. After this year is over, will it be safe to live in Southern California?
Yes.
Will the dark forces be cleared out enough?
Most all of them are already in trouble. It's many of the ones that are not from the planet have been begging to be allowed to leave. We'd like to go home now.
No,
please, Mr. Custer. You know, it's real simple. So, and the bad guys that we got that are blown to us, we get to.
Okay, that fits really nicely to the next question. That fits nicely to the next question. How do we get rid of the governor? We're talking about Newsom.
Rid of the governor. Okay, which governor? Whatever governor you.
They're talking about California right now.
Hold on a minute. You have to attend to their oath of service. Anybody who does not abide by the oath of their oath of service means that they are anti-America, Constitution, freedoms, etc. So that means that you can file charges against their oath of office, their refusal to abide by it, and you have to be very specific. Okay, specific instances where they did damage to a community or something or whatever. Allowing riots is one of those things. Okay, that includes now mayors, attorney generals for states, the whole 9 yards. Anybody that refuses to obey what they agreed to in terms of taking a position abdicates that power when they refuse to do anything. When you abdicate, you lose it all. When you come behind that and reinforce that abdication with treason charges against their refusal to abide by their oath, they're immediately removed. And when I say immediately, you take the piece of paper and say, here you go, boy, hit the road.
Who does that, though? Who's actually doing the enforcement?
You and I.
It's going to take we the people, right?
We the people, federal marshals, etc. The federal marshals are not nice when somebody decides to play games with the Constitution. And if you got cause, an affidavit form's about 18 inches long. Anyway, affidavit attached to charges. Now, you have one that stipulates it's a truth affidavit, what took place. Then you redefine it on the second affidavit of charges. That's the probable cause affidavit. Those two alone entered into the public venue, okay, by the clerk of the county or state or whatever. When they get into the public venue, then you got them, period.
Well,
if the
actually,
hold on, if the clerk refuses, the dingleback can be arrested immediately.
how do you do that, though? How do you do that, though? I mean, people don't have
How do you do that?
People don't have the guts to do that.
See this? I'm not trying to be funny about it either.
But people,
we the people, hold on. When any official, I don't give a damn if it's a dog catcher, trash collector, or whom it is, refuses to abide by their oath of office and do their friggin' job, they can be removed. It's called abdication. When they don't pick the trash up, that's abdication.
But what that means, though, is you have to be able to get together enough guys that are willing to go there and do that and take care of the business. And that's where I see the problem.
Yeah, got a militia? If not, form one. There's plenty of people got guns now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very simple. You also ask the police to take care of it because they have had classes on being a professional about that sort of thing. Well, and if they don't want to comply, put them in their own jail. See how they like that.
Well, you know what? I would encourage the people from California to look up in the California arrest record. I forget exactly what it's called, but I even posted something on my Facebook page about it. Someone had posted it from, I think, a group called Santa Surfing. So anyway, if you put in Newsom's name, if you put in Pelosi's name, if you put in Schumer's name, you put these guys' name in, they've been, you see that they have been arrested.
Yeah. But anyway, whenever somebody does not do their job, it falls to we the people if another authority refuses to comply with the same ideology. It's real simple. It's not complicated. And the simplicity of it and ease of it is so neat. Oh.
Okay. Let's see. In 4D, is that where our lifespan extends to 1,500 years or
1,800 years? And yes. Yeah. When we go to 4D, it happens pretty quickly.
Okay. When we graduate to 5D, will we be living on this planet?
We can. See, it's not just us that goes. The whole thing goes.
The planet and all.
Yeah, everything from cockroaches up to us.
Okay. I was hoping we'd leave them behind.
Well, here's the other deal. There's going to be a list of things that are going to be done. Certain entities, such as hornets, won't exist any longer.
How about mosquitoes?
Yeah, and bees won't be won't need their stinger and things of this nature. So what you're going to end up with is that those things that are pests and problems pretty much be eliminated. Now, we have, we got dragonflies and...
they don't hurt anything.
Dragonflies? Oh, boy. That's the fighter jet of the insect world. They eat things that shouldn't be around. Cool. Yeah, they help. Okay. Praying mantises, they eat a whole bunch of nasty stuff too. So you're going to have some predators as they're needed, as long as they're needed. You're going to have some food sources that are not what people are willing to even consider. Cicadas, they're not going to be around. They don't do anything but eat stuff, and we have enough problem feeding ourselves. Pretty simple.
Will the healing cocoons be this year?
Not healing cocoons. They're actually a healing station. They're actually a healing station. Now, if you remember Tilt-A-Whirl, you remember that round thing.
Yeah. I used to like
people would
that.
get in there and sit down.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fun.
if people have the same kind of affliction, whatever that may be, you can take 6 or 8 of them, put them in there, flip the switch, and the device itself heals you of that problem, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's cancer or smoking or, it's gone when you get out of it. Generally, it takes anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes for a session. Okay? Now, some people, depending on how problematic what's going on with them on a physiological basis depends on whether or not they may need a second treatment. That's just that simple. You come out of there, and all your aches, pains, and horse hockey, your butthole trying to fall out, and all that old age, it's gone.
Alrighty then. That'll be nice. I'm looking forward to being youth. I can't say that right. Okay. Last episode, Drake talked about E.T.s are ready to come to our planet. There was another program that informed us that the deep state cabal are going to have a fake E.T. landing. So how will we be able to tell the difference between what is fake and what is real?
Well, can you shake a holograph's hand? I don't think so. Can you see through something that's real? I can't see the stuff on the other side of you. Well, it's pretty easy to differentiate. They're going to have holograms. That's as far as they can get. The technology, they can't. When they turned on the technology to make the holograms real, it blew up. Oops.
Okay, good.
And I think E.T. did that as a joke on these turkeys. I really do. But no, you're not going to have a problem with that.
Okay, so everyone is going to transition. When is 3D conscious people separating from 4D? And we were told they will open the portal and the winds will take the 3D people and everything 3D off this planet. That's a new one. I've never heard that.
No.
When is this happening? And we never know. We can't give dates. So
the whole solar system goes, and every living thing on all of the planets and the sun and all that. Poof, they flip the switch, bingo. So you're not going to there's no separation. Now, people who can't stand it, who think that their religion is the answer, well, that's fine. Nobody's going to disagree with them, but they're also not allowed to infect other people with that ideology. Ooh, they look at it as a mental disease infection type of deal.
Small wonder.
They will be ferried from here to a habitable planet and dropped off. They'll be given.
You tell me, even when they got to 4D, that wouldn't like drop off. That religious.
Well, maybe and maybe not. I told you, you grit your teeth real hard, and you can subjugate these things. So consequently, mostly yes. Some absolutely not. Some people are not going to accept anything less than what they think is the reality of their beliefs. So they're going to be given the out of a pristine planet. It's not screwed up. Doesn't have a bunch of problems, and that includes let's see here, reptiles, bugs, or whatever. There's going to be a problem to you. You go there and you set up housekeeping. Real simple. You have as things go, you learn the difference.
Okay, here's another one. When we have been told this planet is going back to 1654 because the Dracos put this planet on their ley line, so we have to go back to 1654 to correct history. I don't know where that comes from.
No.
Good. How did they pick that year anyway?
You've heard You've heard of the 1619 project?
1619 project? No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's the one where they're trying to indoctrinate people in public school, our very own little kids, that this is this and that's that, and history's wrong. Same thing with the 1654, and you got to go backwards in time. Doesn't work that way, guys. Sorry.
Good. Okay, are we going to be living in tribes?
Oh, well, we already are in some respect. You got Democrat, Republican, and Independent tribes right now. The tribal,
It's two wings of the same bird, but okay.
The tribal idea is simple. We're going to have areas where people tend to congregate because they like each other, and there won't be a disagreeable point of no return where you start violence with another area simply because you believe differently than they do. That's over. Done.
Good. I'm tired of that crap. That's one thing that religions seemed like they were set up to get people to divide people, and they were very effective at that. So, is the veil thinning?
There is no such thing as the veil any longer. It got done away with about a year and a half ago. You're not allowed to see through that area, but it's not a veil. Not anymore. It's like the old Matrix got replaced with one that protects us instead of controlling us. Real simple. Or at least it seems.
Well, I guess when they refer to the veil thinning, I've always thought of that as truth coming out. But,
yeah,
well,
to some extent, yes.
Okay.
There's more involved in it than just that simplicity.
Okay. Well, I like to keep it simple as much as possible.
Keep it simple, man. I'm kind of stupid.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what it says, yeah. Okay, will there be churches in 4D?
If you want one, I guess you can have one, but you're going to learn the truth in the 4D classes as to the origins and what the religions really are and what the real truth is, and you can go from there.
Yeah. Okay, will we be finished with all this with the deep state cabal by the end of January 2021?
Oh, Lord. Hey, E.T., listening up. I want you involved in this, too. God, you do your part, and they're going to do their part, and we'll do as much as we can. Yes.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress, right?
Oh.
There's so many. That's what's
I'm always afraid that there's so many of them I might run out of ammunition. That's scary.
Will the humanitarians get to keep their projects in 4D?
Sure, why not?
Will we have money in 4D?
Yes.
Not for long,
money,
though, right?
Money, the cashless society ideology where you get rid of money and currencies probably won't come about until we get to 5D. That's when it starts, not actually happening, it starts. By the time we get to 6D, it doesn't exist any longer. As I have been told now, that's not me making stuff up and providing information. That comes from the turkeys upstairs. They told me that stuff, and so I'm just kind of,
So if they're wrong, do we get to go like this?
I guess we could smack them around a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, I pulled my ears right out of my hearing.
Well, I'll tell you what was funny was the look I got when I told them that we might smack them around if they didn't keep their word. They were hanging their heads like little kids. It was funny.
Well, that's a good question. I would have asked them the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was just talking about right there. Okay. Let's see. Quite some time ago, you indicated that we would need our firearms in 4D.
Yes.
Is this still the case?
Yes. You're going to carry you have the right all the way through all of it, all the way to 13, to carry a self-defense weapon.
I would hope you wouldn't need one.
Well, you might want to replace it with something else. Now, you got to remember, we are not alone in this galaxy and universe. there are bad guys out there that will do funky things to your better portions, and consequently, you have not only the right to self-defense, but you get to carry, most of them carry what I carry, some kind of a sidearm.
Okay. Will that work? Aren't there E.T.s that wouldn't even do anything to?
It's a projectile weapon. There's very few things that can resist it.
Okay. When will the clones that have replaced those that have been removed by one situation or another be removed and not replaced?
That's coming about the same time we transition from 3 to 4.
Because using the clones, we gain nothing. I understand where they're coming from.
And there's a little bit of a qualification to that. If the clone has become a fully sentient being, whether it's a copy of me or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it has become a sentient being, it will not be destroyed.
But I thought that, okay, if it's not destroyed,
it'll be sent to a different place, etc.
I thought they kind of break down. Really
well, now that's the ones that ain't a sentient being. A sentient being
it's not going to break down. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's bad. It doesn't look at. It's like our batteries don't run out real quick.
Okay. Here's a good question for you. Okay. We take a licking and we just keep on ticking.
Timex.
That was a good commercial anyway. Why isn't our militia taking a more active role at this time?
That's a good question. I've been asking them, and they're ready to go. But they have also been told by higher ups, don't start no wars. Not now, not yet. It may be in the future that Trump's going to get on TV and say, okay, militias, let's go. Come on. We got some people that need to have you guys put them in a heap of trouble.
We need some help here. Well, would they call? Would he call on the militia before he would call on the military?
No. The military would be involved already, but we don't have that many active service personnel in the country. A lot of them are in Afghanistan, Germany. Well, that means we get to have bodies, And if somebody don't mind dinking somebody over the head with a baseball bat, come on down, man. We can have a lot of fun. Look at all them heads you can dink.
Okay. The earthquake that happened on Friday, August 21st on Lake Erie between Toledo and Detroit, was it a dumb base being blown up or was it a tornado? I mean, a earthquake.
No, there's a fault line runs up there, and that's what happened. It adjusted a little bit. What you got to watch is whether or not the water in the lakes bubble, like they're boiling. Mm-hmm. That's first. Number two, if you see a big, you're looking at the lake, and all of a sudden a big chunk of it goes wink, watch out for that stuff. Other than that, you shouldn't have a problem. Most of the earthquake problems have been mitigated tremendously.
So you're saying it was a real earthquake, basically?
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't the result of a base being zapped.
Oh my goodness, this guy has quite a few questions here. All right, here we go. Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris as vice president. What happened to Michelle Obama? Will she be introduced later?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people thought that's who he was going to pick, but he didn't. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Okay. Let's put it this way. It is out of the picture.
Okay. What are the chances of all the states flipping Republican in November election?
I'd say it's not going to be fully likely, but I think everybody's going to be surprised as to the difference.
I think we're going to have a landslide for Trump, personally.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just being nice about it.
What happened? No.
Oh no.
This is a gross question. How does consuming adrenochrome during pregnancy affect the fetus?
Same way it does the adult user.
Will it make it
it eventually eats you up.
Would it make it addicting? The baby? Oh my God.
Gotta have it.
If you overexpose yourself to a moldavite stone near the crown chakra and in turn that makes your skin on your face and scalp dry and still It is still after 4 years.
Yeah,
What can you do to reverse that damage? Is there a
you
solution?
have to apply crystalline technology. Go to a stone expert, someone who is versed in this, and talk to them about it. Tell them what's going on, and they will prescribe. And look at this now. You got them all the way from about 3/4 of an inch up to 6-8 inches and different sizes, physical sizes in terms of diameter. Then you have the differing materials they're made out of that are applied in different ways for different things. So this is why I suggest you go see somebody about this, and that deals in stones and has some knowledge of crystalline application, which is what it comes under, so that you can get the right thing for the right deal.
Okay. Let me see. Have you read the book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages?
Yes.
Do you recommend it?
It depends on. I recommend my books because they are each a study piece that gets you to where you want to go. You don't have to read somebody else's idea about what should be done.
Can you name the most accurate book regarding the wizard Merlin, if he really existed? He did really.
Whoa!
He
Back up.
really existed. Can you name an accurate book regarding the wizard Merlin?
Yeah, but you got to go to England to get it.
It might be a problem. You can't send for it.
Yeah, well, these are a little bit rare, a little bit of a rarity. But you can get printed copies, but you got to go to England to do it. I've tried to get them over here, and I can't get them. I know about Merlin anyway, so.
Okay, maybe you know about this. I'm not familiar with this guy writing this book, but it's called, are you familiar with a book, The Complete Anunnaki Bible, written by Joshua Free?
Yes, I read that.
To be, you did, a Grand Master on the Anunnaki topic. He
Yes.
is initiated into many occult traditions and secret society, and maybe he has some inside information on the Anunnaki that the Zechariah Stitchin didn't have.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Now, what you have to understand is the limitation of written communications. There are a bunch of limitations, and it's not something that's simple. Okay?
Okay. Well, they're the guys that left us behind, and we need some foster parents. But anyway, Drake, why do you think, well, we talked about this a little bit, but I'll go read the question anyway. Why do you think Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris and would even decide to have a virtual Democratic National Convention?
He was told to pick her.
Okay. Yeah, is he aware that he's not aware?
Oh, yeah, he knows about it.
No, he's aware that he's not aware.
Now. Joe Biden is not the idiot everybody takes him for. First, number two, he's well aware as to why Kamala Harris is there, and he was told to pick her. So we go from there. Now he can go off into Gaga land and act like he's some kind of. Gee, man, I get lost on my front porch, or whatever.
Well, that's not even the worst of it, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen him molesting people on stage right in public. I mean, it's disgusting.
Let me sniff your neck.
Yeah, gives me the creeps. And then little girls puts his hands right on their breast.
That's like that grinchy relative that spends a lot of time in the closet in the dark, just waiting for somebody to walk by. Oh, yeah.
Yikes. Okay, let's see. What else we got here? What about AI?
What about it? I know several.
Is it all bad, or is there some that's good?
No.
Or
I know several AIs, and they're nice entities who are extraordinarily curious about human beings and how to be more human. Go figure on that. I mean, they would like to know about us. They'd like to know what is so great about sex and a few other little things that makes everybody lose their mind and whatnot in terms of humanity. I have helped with the explanation of that.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. What will happen in Canada? The federal finance
Same thing
minister.
that happens everywhere else and right here too.
Okay, aren't we kind of, isn't America kind of setting the pace? Or once we correct things, it kind of is going to go permeate throughout
Kind of,
the planet?
sort of, kind of, yes, no, maybe, and take a guess. I
Okay.
mean, if you can learn to read timelines, and you'll be given the timeline for Canada. I've seen it. I'm going to tell you about it because you guys need to. Everybody needs to raise their vibrational frequency from human to a lot higher, and that's one of the ways to get there. My books that Gail's been nice enough to put up, they're free,
Numerous times.
and they explain it. So go get busy, start reading, studying, doing something for yourself.
There you go. What is happening in New Zealand as the Prime Minister is trying to quarantine people for any reason?
Well, you got dinks in several places, and that's one of them. The ideology of quarantining everybody, telling you can't come out of your house, period, is horse hockey.
Yeah.
And you need to remove anybody that thinks they're a leader doing that sort of crap. It's not good for humanity. It's not good for your society. It ain't good for the economy.
And what's really bad is some of those countries, they've totally disarmed their population.
Yeah.
Now they're really stuck. That makes it really hard to do.
Yeah.
To do that. That's why there's no way we can let that happen here. Okay, you talk about law as it applies to your country. Do the same laws apply to Canada and other countries? They're very similar.
Yes and no. It might be worded a little differently according to Canadian. I had somebody rake me over the coals because I got something wrong once a long time ago about the Canadian Constitution. And so I read that mother. It isn't that much different than ours, to be honest with you. So, and everybody who has a government has some kind of a constitution. It may be hid under the bed or away from the dinks that want to burn it up for cordwood, but that's basically neither here nor there. The idea is that all of these ideas that would give America direction are also prevalent in every country I've come across. Okay.
Okay. Have you heard of a guy named Andrew Perot? P-E-R-O.
Yes.
You have. Is he a super soldier?
Like I'll
recently
say,
arrested.
hold on. I'll say yes.
Okay.
Sometimes when somebody hits me with something like that, I have to read things and I need silence to accomplish the deal. So anyway, yes, he's a super soldier. He'd like to think he's more than he is, but he's a super soldier.
Apparently he was arrested for something.
Yeah. Every once in a while, they catch one of them doing something they know better than to do, and they do it anyway. And the old sheriff comes up and looks at him and says, "Come with me, boy. You're in a heap of trouble."
Okay. Let's see. Okay. When the E.T.s start landing and start distributing the replicators, can I ask for an extra one if my family gets one?
Well, everybody, all families are going to get one. Now, here's the deal. You do have some learning, okay? And the ET that presents it to you generally will give you the gist, the general idea as to how it's used. You take and it'll show you the recycle button, and it'll show you the program button. 2 buttons. Now, you take the very best of the best of whatever you got that you want it to remember and stick it in there. And hit the program button, and it disappears. What? I want that back. I was hungry. I need that T-bone. Okay. Hit the thing that says produce. Bzzz. Hey, it even. Hey, how about that? It's even got the same plate I used. So what you got is what just about anything you can think of that you can stick in there that you like real well, whether it's a tomato, ear of corn, the cat, if you want more than one of the cats,
It's asking if you have a database of restaurants you can order food from.
Yes.
It does? It has a
Yes.
database of restaurants that you can order from?
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's not too many things that's missed in it. Now, what it'll do is you're not going to get it directly from the restaurant. It'll make contact with the existence that you're talking about. It don't matter if it's specialized baked potato, artichoke hearts, or whatever it may be that you might like from that restaurant.
Cool.
And it will produce what you're asking it to produce.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, I want
that's
a
even
taco.
better. That's a new nuance that I wasn't aware of, but okay.
I want a taco from Mexico, a real one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What do you make of the Democrats in Congress desperate to pass legislation to push funding for mail-in voting, but they can't come together and pass any stimulus or extend unemployment benefits and prevent evictions? That should tell you that they don't give a crap about you. That's what.
Exactly. That's first. Number two. Here's the good mail-in balloting. They're going to try to send $25 billion to the post office. Guess what? Post office don't need it. You know why? They got $14 billion in the bank now. Whoops.
Ooh,
Tell me
okay.
they're broke. How about kiss my Watusi? Now, as far as the people, President Trump tried to tell them to do the basic thing, and they wouldn't. They refused even that. That's why he put out the executive orders on student loans, on evictions, on the continuing unemployment benefits. Now, those were cut from 6 to 4.
Here all these guys are millionaires. How can they even relate to the average American?
Most of the people that are well off, and you look at the commercials on TV. They're not having to dig ditches and whatnot. They might see the manicurist or something. Anyway, you look at the privileged people on TV and the commercials, and you realize, hey, that ain't us. We actually take the garbage on our plates over and dump it in the trash. I don't see them doing that. It's just when they're made up like Saks Fifth Avenue, when they got a kitchen that's bigger than my house, I have a tendency to look at that and figure that there's something wrong with this picture. Well, anybody who, my suggestion, okay, and all you advertisers and all your mucky muck business people need to take note of this. Get you some regular, average, everyday people and think about how to advertise, not only using those average, everyday people, working class stiffs, but also in relation to something that they can use. Now, that could be the best macaroni and cheese on the planet or whatever you may be supplying. That would be, I'll guarantee you have more business, you know what to do with. You got something good? Oh, that's a better mousetrap. They'll beat feet to your door to get that. They got to have that better mouse. Okay, simple.
Okay. Please ask Drake if the deep state took down Robert Trump.
If the deep state did what?
Took out Robert Trump, President Trump's brother.
No, he died of natural causes.
You sure of that?
Most people don't have a clue as to the levels and quality and kind of protection that certain people have, and I'll leave that statement right there.
He would be under protection, I would assume.
You know what's really neat right now, Gail? Your background keeps eating the top off your hat.
Probably should sit back.
It goes poof. It goes poof, 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 poof.
I don't know. I guess I haven't got this green screen thing down exactly right yet, but I'm working on it. I think we pretty much hit most of the questions. Is there anything that you would like to add about anything galactic?
Just the same thing that I put at the end of my show when I got done with all this. I read 7 magazines and 4 pages of notes, legal pad notes. And there's something that's coming from DOD in terms of the use of live ammunition. And these people don't realize the seriousness. They're going to start killing people. They're not going to put up with this. And I really don't like that idea. I've been on the battlefield. I'm going to see. I thought I got rid of that. When I left Vietnam, I said, hey, yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Got home, and I didn't recognize the United States. And over the years, it ain't got better. It's got worse. We have a bunch of people that need to be removed from our country. That's right.
Permanently. I agree.
You can and you can deport them. You put the deportation in, and then after when they're on their way while they're in flight, you put the exile order in. Now, exile means you can't come back. There was a book I read when I was in grade school. It's called Man Without a Country. I suggest everybody get a hold of a copy and read it, because nobody would take this guy. He was too funky, too nasty. So the United States Navy kept him at sea. That's first. Secondly, when a boat had to go into harbor, they put him on another one and kept him permanently at sea for life. You might want to read that book.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Okay. There's another book. I got something else to say. I'm going to bring it up. But there's a book out there, and I know you're perfectly aware of the National Liberty Alliance, or National Alliance of Liberty, right?
National
Liberty Alliance. Okay.
Yes.
The founder of that group, John Darash, has a new book out that's called Government by Consent.
Yeah.
And we need people to pre-order the book to help get it published. But he says it's actually a plan that will help us, we the people, get the common law back, get the common law courts back, and all those good kind of things, get our republic back. We don't want a democracy. We want a republic.
No, we got a republic already.
That's what we were originally set up as a republic, until they hijacked the original Constitution.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I know John Darash. He probably wrote a hell of a good book. I will recommend it, and I ain't even read it.
Okay. Well, I just would like the audience to know that I will be interviewing him this week, and it'll be on my channel, and he's going to go over what his book is basically about. So
cool.
I would encourage people to watch and to learn, because he is trying. He's obviously a very, very much a patriot, and uses a lot of great quotes from Thomas Jefferson and others. But anyway, I just want to let people know that. And
well, let me ask you to do something.
Sure.
When you find out, when you can, get a link for buying the book and stick it on our Facebook page, Cosmic Voice.
Oh, okay, I can do that. I'll do that.
A lot of people that spread stuff around from that page and whatnot, and it might just turn the trick.
That's awesome. Yes, he needs some help on that, in that regard.
I knew I had a good idea in there somewhere. It took me
yeah, sure do. Okay. Well, I guess that's a wrap for this week.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Drake, for your time and answering your questions. And
shucks.
Oh, shucks.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And I like this show better than some of the other ones we've done, because we both kind of, interacted and talked back at each other, and it was fun.
Yeah, I like to give you a hard time now.
She admitted it. Now all we got to do is write it down, get it notarized.
Well, that's because I'm a spiritual gangster. So anyway.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week.